the Yankees lose their first season series against the Minnesota Twins since 2001. So the Yankees are done with the Twins quickly this year. They split the four-game set at Yankee Stadium. What was it, last week or whatever it was, a week or two ago. And then they lose 2 out of 3 at the Twins here. Now, it ends on a good note as the Yankees bats finally break out. But before that, it was really bad. And unfortunately, I think we're going to see more of that than what we saw today. But at least the Yankees didn't get swept. So now the Yankees have lost 2 series in a row after having been undefeated in series this season. Their record is now 14-11. And again, like, this offense is definitely concerning. But it is crazy that the Yankees, I mean, the last time that they, lost a season series of the Twins was 2001. So, I mean, this is dating back to really when the Yankees were kind of still in that dynasty mode. It's just crazy how long it's been, 22 years. But that streak comes to an end. And this is a decent Minnesota Twins team. And some former Yankees did some damage against them. I guess namely Sonny Gray, who goes 7 scoreless in the first game. And then Joey Gallo. I'm not even surprised by it. Joey Gallo hits a couple of home runs in this series as well. But the Yankees are really beaten up right now by the injury bug. So, you kind of have a constant between, like the first 5 hitters in the lineup. And even that order had changed a bit, where in Game 2, they tried Rizzo batting second and Judge batting third. They then flipped it back in Game 3. But also, I think now what might be here to stay is LeMahieu batting fourth, Torres batting fifth, although those could change as well. But the players, that those 5, including Volpe at leadoff, are going to be in there on most nights. But then after that, you could really go in a number of different directions. I mean, as we leave the series, I think Willie Calhoun will probably be a staple versus righties. Connor Falefel will be a staple versus lefties. And then, of course, there's Trevino Higashioka. But, the Aaron Hicks failures continue. He got a chance in the first 2 games against the Twins and did absolutely nothing. I mean, he's really a total joke. Oswaldo Cabrera has struggled, although I guess in Game 3 he did some good things. But Oswaldo Cabrera has not really had a great season. As much as he's a very likable guy and there might be a bright future there, he's had his struggles. And Franchi Cordero, after a nice little stretch, has completely fallen off. Totally. So that's where they're at right now. And we'll see, Stanton won't be back for a while. Donaldson, maybe a couple weeks. That seems kind of unknown right now. Harrison Bader is probably the closest to coming back. He's on a rehab assignment. If all goes well there, I think we might maybe see him back in about a week or so. So that might help a bit. But, let's jump into it. The first game was Johnny Brito versus Sonny Gray. Now, Johnny Brito did well his last outing, but the one where he got bombed was against the Minnesota Twins, and he didn't exactly... I mean, he did fare better. You couldn't have fared worse than the first time. But this one wasn't very good either. Didn't go deep. Only went 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and only 1 strikeout. So not an encouraging outing for Johnny Brito. And the Yankees really were never in this one. I mean, yeah, they really were never even in this one. This was probably the least competitive of the 3 for the Yankees. And Sonny Gray just absolutely, really did whatever he wanted against this Yankees meek offense. So, early on, Gray is in cruise control, and Brito, a good first couple of innings, but in the 3rd inning, it really all falls apart for him, and the damage is really mostly done with 2 out, as there's 2 on, 2 out, and Jorge Polanco gets a 2-run single, and then it's an RBI. Oh, sorry, I guess there wasn't 2 out. No, I stand corrected. Right, there was actually only 1 out. It was actually bases loaded, 1 out, and that's when Polanco gets a 2-run single, and then Buxton gets an RBI ground out where it was hit pretty well at Brito. He couldn't control it, so the run scored, and the Twins took a 3-0 lead, and he couldn't even make it out of the inning. He walks Trevor Larnach, and then Greg Weiser comes on. Now, mind you, Weiser was sent down for Nick Ramirez, so Weiser, who pitched, comes in, pitches all right, not terrible. He does give up a home run to Joey Gallo in the 4th, but Weiser, we'll see him again. He'll be up and down, I'm assuming, this year between AAA and the Yanks. And like I said, they did call up Nick Ramirez, the lefty who pitched in Game 2. But yeah, I mean, there's not even a whole lot of opportunities to speak of against Sonny Gray. Albert Abreu replaces Greg Weisser. Abreu with a couple of walks, but gets out of the fifth inning. Um, again, the score at this point is 4-0. And then Abreu gives up an RBI double to Jorge Polanco. There was an error by Anthony Volpe. Where was that error? I believe there was. But I know he hit. Dating back to the Sunday game, Volpe had errors in 3 straight games. Let me just locate where that came. And did it affect anything on the scoreboard? Oh no, I guess in some ways, it was when Abreu was pitching. I guess it might have, affected when the Twins scored a run in the seventh on the Polanco RBI double. So again, Gray, 7 scoreless innings. Wandy Peralta comes on in a not a high leverage situation in the 7th inning, although he struggled a little bit lately, but he pitches a scoreless 1-2-3 7th. Griffin Jacks comes on in the 8th, gives up a couple of singles. You do have a Rizzo spot with bases loaded 2 out in a 5-0 game. Maybe if he does something there, it gets interesting, but he strikes out. And then Jimmy Cordero pitches in the 8th. He does give an RBI triple to Carlos Correa. Right, this is what it was. And how, right, this is what it was. How, really, okay. The error should have been, so Oswaldo Cabrera messes up in the 7th on the Polanco double. Right, I don't understand how that was not. That should have been an error. Yeah, no, that was an absolute mess up by Cabrera on left. And then Franchi Cordero in the 8th messes up in right field. And it's ruled an RBI triple by Correa, but that's just shoddy defense. This was just this might have been, quickly thinking about it, this might have been the worst game the Yankees had played all season. Just nothing was going right. And then Moran comes in for Jacks and gets into trouble. He walks Torres, LeMahieu singles, kind of for left foot pinch hits and walks. And then Oswaldo Cabrera should have been more patient. I think a walk could have been there for him, but he swings at a bad pitch and ends up grounding out. So maybe something could have happened there. That's 6-1 at that point. And then Trevino flies out, and Aaron Hicks strikes out 10 in the game. Again, Aaron Hicks is a total joke. So the Twins win that one 6-1. Let's shift to Game 2. And Game 2 was between Nestor Cortez, who had pitched well last time versus the Twins, against Joe Ryan, who pitched well versus the Yankees last time. And Joe Ryan got the better of it in this matchup, as Joe Ryan goes 7 innings, gives up 1 earned run, 2 runs overall, but only 1 earned. And then Nestor pitched pretty well until the 6th, when he kind of ran out of gas. And so that's unfortunate, where Nestor, kind of kept the Yankees in it and ends up kind of falling short there by the end of the outing. So Yankees take a lead in this one. In the first inning, it's a 2-out rally. Judge singles, moves to second on a wild pitch, then an RBI single by LeMahieu. So for DJ, he's striking out a lot more than you're accustomed to, but he is, he's hitting the ball pretty well. He's doing it all right. It's been a decent start to the season for DJ, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. And then, in fact, Calhoun singles. Willie Calhoun with a decent couple of last game, two games of the series. Hopefully, he can get going. Because Willie Calhoun has showed in the past in his MLB career that he can be a good hitter, and the Yankees need that. He's not a good fielder at all, and so expect a lot of DH days from him. But Peraza, with a first and second chance, maybe, to really get something cooking, he flies out to Michael A. Taylor in center, and so the Yankees only are up 1-0. Then Joe Ryan pitches a lot better, and there was a chance for Rizzo in the second, but he flies out with a couple runners on and 2 out. Then in the bottom of the third, it's an Anthony Volpe era. So Anthony Volpe, who is really at the plate, he's getting a lot better. I mean, he is really starting to find it. But in the field, there's been some struggles, right? And there's going to be these rookie issues. But, for Volpe, who's shown a lot of good stuff at short, unfortunately, this era is costly. It's an RBI double by Donovan Solano to knock Taylor in to make it 1-1. And then with 1 out, Jorge Polanco is at it again with an RBI double to give the Twins a 2-1 lead. And in the 5th, the Yankees get lucky. Donovan Solano, who is not a natural first baseman, really helps the Yankees score a run. First and second 1 out, it's a tailor-made double play ball by Judge, 5-4, but then at 3, Solano doesn't catch it. So Hicks scores, And Hicks, I'll give him some credit. He hit the ball hard, but it was a play that Solano could have easily made. They ruled it a single. Long story short, the Yankees get lucky and tied at 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and Jorge Polanco doubles. And Aaron Hicks in left, it's like, this could have been caught. I understand why it was called a double. Absolutely, it would be. But, Hicks, he just took a bad round of the ball, and, you knew he wasn't going to catch it, and he doesn't. And then, runner on second, no out, you got to pitch carefully to Byron Buxton. The Yankees, there's a stubbornness. They refuse, I'm not saying intentionally walk Buxton, but you have a base open. And he's, at this point, the best guy in the lineup there. It drops off after Buxton quite a bit. And Cortez goes after him, and Buxton, it's a big 2-run homer to give the Twins a 4-2 lead in the 6th. And that would be all for Cortez. His night ends. And Ron Marinaccio comes on. And Marinaccio, I think he'll be all right, but he's kind of been struggling lately, and he gives up a 2-run homer to Trevor Larnach. So now what was a 4-2 game is now 6-2, and it's really out of reach. And, Joe Ryan pitches 7 innings. Nick Ramirez does a nice job, pitches 2 scoreless. Jorge Lopez goes 1-2-3 versus the Yankees in the 8th, and then Duran, after a leadoff single by Calhoun, puts down Peraza, Cordero, and Trevino. So the Yankees lose the series right there. They lose the season series right there. And we go into the last game of the series, which was today, and the Yankees looking to avoid the sweep, and luckily they do. And the bats did get going. A couple of really big innings, and they got to Kenta Maeda, who at this point in his career just really isn't all that good. Maeda, who had some good numbers versus the Yankees' lifetime, you kind of felt like you could get to. Now, Domingo Germán, the only good thing I can say is that he gave you 6 innings, but 3 home runs. Domingo Germán gives up home runs. The walk to strikeout ratio, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Not gonna have. There was a hit by pitch, but it's the home run ball. That's always been his issue. But again, not gonna complain. He was given a big lead. He held it. It never really got that interesting. The big thing today, well, a couple of things. Volpe with a really, really nice day at the plate. He was able to get a couple of hits, a couple of walks, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, a really nice day for Anthony Volpe. And now his on-base percentage is .358. The numbers are coming up a bit. The strikeouts are high, but really, over his last, I want to say 15 games, he's just been a lot better. And so that's great to see. Now, Aaron Judge, it was his birthday today. He did well. He went 3 for 4. He had 3 RBIs, a big bases-clearing double, in fact. Probably the biggest hit of the game in the second, although there was a scary moment in the second where he shouldn't have done it. He tried to steal third with Rizzo up, and he ends up going awkwardly into third. Looked like he hurt his right hand, maybe his right wrist. He stayed in the game. I think he'll be okay, but he was definitely feeling it, and he was flexing it. And so that's a scare, but I'd like to think he'll be all right. I don't think we're out of the woods on this yet, but of course it's very encouraging that he stayed in the game and looked kind of no worse for wear. Mind you, he was the DH, so we never saw him out there in the outfield, but at the plate, he looked all right. Something to bear in mind here. Not going to make a big deal about it, but if we see him in the lineup tomorrow starting at Texas, then that's a really good sign. But I could see them giving him a day off. Certainly, another DH day might be in the cards. But for the Yanks, a really big second inning gets it going. A 5-run second inning at that. So Gleyber Torres, he really, his base running is very risky. That's being kind. He really should have been thrown out at second. He gets a hit to the outfield, and he tries to go to second, but unfortunately, the throw is off. And so not only does he reach second, he actually reaches third, because it's a throwing error by Nick Gordon. And then Willie Calhoun gets an RBI single. Joey Gallo playing first base knocks it down, but he's unable to get Calhoun out. It was hit pretty hard, and Gleyber scores. Then Connor Falefa with a really nice bunt single for IKF. Then Higashioka lines out. Oswaldo Cabrera walks, and then Anthony Volpe gets an RBI single. So that sets the stage. 2-0 bases loaded, 1 out, and then Aaron Judge with a bases-clearing double. A really big hit to give the Yankees a 5-0 lead. Then, of course, you get that caught stealing by Judge, which was just not the right idea for him. Way too risky to be doing that. Just no need. And then Rizzo strikes out to end the inning. In the second, Jose Miranda hits his first home run of the season. And that cuts the lead to 5-1. Then let's jump to the fourth. And in the fourth, the Yankees get a 6-run inning. Higashioka single, Oswaldo Cabrera bunt single, and the runners advance to second and third on a throwing error by Maeda. So a couple of bunt singles for the Yanks. And then Anthony Volpe with an RBI, with a 2-run double. Gives the Yanks a 7-1 lead. Judge walks, and then a 2-run double for Anthony Rizzo. Gives the Yanks a 9-1 lead. And then Maeda leaves the game. He was in for so long anyway. I think he left because of injury. And then you get a Gleyber Torres 2-run homer. So really the three big hits that inning. Volpe, Rizzo, Torres gives the Yankees an 11-1 lead in the fourth inning. And then Jose Miranda homers again. So a 2-run homer from Miranda makes it 11-3. We jump to the sixth. And in the sixth, Herman with 2 outs, he hits Miranda. And then Joey Gallo hits a 2-run homer to cut it to 11-5. So Gallo with a couple home runs this series. That's the third home run allowed of the game for Herman. And then in the bottom of the seventh, he gives up a leadoff triple to Nick Gordon. He then comes out of the game, and then even Ian Hamilton comes on. He does give up one of Herman. It was a run on third, no out. A good job by Ian Hamilton. In the top of the eighth, you get a sac fly by LeMahieu. Actually, this was a robbed home run by Trevor Larnach. But it's a sac fly for LeMahieu as the situation was first and third, 1 out. It becomes a 12-6 Yankee lead. Ian Hamilton pitches a nice eighth inning. He's been a nice find for the Yankees. I think Hamilton might find himself at some high leverage situations. And then Clay Holmes comes in the ninth in a 12-6 game, pitches a 1-2-3 inning, and the Yankees avoid the sweep. The record's 14-11, and now they go to Texas for a 4-game set. And the first game, you really want to win it because Garrett Cole's on the mound. Garrett Cole will be going up against the former Yankee Andrew Heaney. So some interesting pitching matchups. Andrew Heaney, the former Yankee who was just absolutely awful in 2021, kind of rebounded last year as a Dodger, and now he's on Texas, and the results have not been great, not horrible, I guess, but we'll see what happens there. So you really want to win Cole versus Heaney. We almost got a Cole versus DeGrom matchup, which would have been really fun. Instead, it's Clark Schmidt versus DeGrom. Hopefully, Clark can build off of that good outing last time, but obviously on paper, you don't love Schmidt versus DeGrom. And then the third game will be a matchup between Johnny Brito and Nate Eovaldi. So another former Yankee and more recently former Red Sox and Eovaldi. He's also had a rough beginning to his Texas career. So already first 3 games of the series, all first-year Texas Rangers in Heaney, DeGrom, and Eovaldi. And then game 4 on Sunday will be between Nestor Cortez and Martin Perez. So a couple of lefties on the mound there. I kind of like that matchup, although Perez is kind of one of those guys. Perez gets into trouble. Perez is one of those guys who has a high whip, but his ERA isn't too bad. So he kind of is able to escape out of trouble. But this will not be an easy series with the state the Yankees are in. This Texas team is definitely better than ones of years past. So for this series, I'm kind of hoping for a split. If you lose the Cole game, then I'm really concerned. If you win that game, then it's a lot easier throughout the series. So again, Yankees, they lose back-to-back series. First home against the Blue Jays, now at the Twins. And we'll see if the Yankees are able to kind of tread water as they travel to Texas to take on the Rangers.